Hey, and welcome to another edition of Sports Card Investing Targets, where we take a look at sports cards which might be good buys right now based on market movers data provided by sportscardinvestor.com, where you can get 20% off your first payment on any subscription by using promo code GRINDERS. I highly recommend going with the annual subscription that you pay up front. You get 20% off the entire year up front as opposed to just 1 month if you're doing the monthly. So check that out and check out our articles over on RotoGrinders.com. If you look under More Sports tab, you'll see Sports Card section, and you can check out all our articles and videos that we post regularly. So let's get to the cards. For this most recent article, and I'll post the link in the description down below, you can see that I decided to focus back on undervalued quarterbacks. I've noticed that wide receivers and skill position players have started to move a little bit more, and now it's time to refocus on quarterbacks to see if we can find any value over there. And I've chosen a few quarterbacks this week that I am comparing to other quarterbacks to get an idea of how different tiers are performing and find out if we can find any of these quarterbacks that are undervalued compared to their peers. Once again, if you go to the RotoGrinders homepage, you can always find our sports card content under More Sports. You can see the tab up here, and you can go straight to Sports Cards, where you can have access to all our videos and all of our articles. So make sure to check out our videos on YouTube too. And give us a like on this video and subscribe to our YouTube page so we can continue producing this great sports card content. So the first player that I wanted to look at this week is Deshaun Watson. And I've mentioned Watson in the past, either on our show, Sports Card Grinders, or on these videos, in comparison to Dak Prescott mainly. But if you've noticed, the prices on Dak Prescott have caught up to Deshaun Watson. As you can see from this chart, the 2016 Dak Prescott Optic Football Hollow PSA 10 card has actually caught up in price to the Deshaun Watson 2017 Optic Football Hollow PSA 10 card. They're both going for just over $700, $750 most recent on the Dak Prescott card and $705 on the Deshaun Watson card. But if you notice, when you compare these two cards to Lamar Jackson's 2018 Optic Hollow PSA 10 card, he's way ahead of those guys. He's at $2,300. And Lamar Jackson is a great player, but he's really only had one big season. That was his MVP season last year. And Dak and Deshaun have had several good seasons. They've been consistent throughout their careers, and yet they are significantly below this Lamar Jackson card. We're talking, like 3 times lower than this Lamar Jackson card, which I don't think is justified based on one outstanding season. And I think that Dak or Deshaun could easily have a huge season this year and bring them much closer to this $2,300 price point. So I could easily see those guys doubling at some point during the season if they perform well. And you can get those cards, like I said, right now around $705 for the Deshaun Watson card and $750 for the Dak Prescott card. And I actually bought the Deshaun Watson card recently under $600, so I have my money in that card as well, and I still recommend it as a buy for the near term. The next player that I want to look at is Baker Mayfield, and we're going to compare Baker Mayfield's 2018 Prism Football PSA 10 to Daniel Jones' 2019 Prism Football Base PSA 10. Those are both base cards. Now, as we're looking at this chart, you can see that Daniel Jones and Baker Mayfield have had a very similar upward climb recently. Their charts follow pretty closely. You can see that Baker Mayfield's card is going for about $50 more than that Daniel Jones, but they're still pretty close in price. And I don't know if that's entirely justified to have Daniel Jones in that same price range as Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield's the better player, and I think he's going to have a breakout season this year. I don't know about Daniel Jones. We'll have to see how the Giants perform this year, but they're not set up as well as the Browns are. And I think Baker Mayfield should be significantly higher than Daniel Jones going into this season. And as you can see from about the beginning of August to the current price, it's been pretty flat for Baker Mayfield. He started the beginning of August at $399, currently at $380. So he's been pretty flatlined for the last month or so, which is what we like to see when we're hunting for value here. He had a nice climb earlier before that, but then he's basically been plateauing. So I think it might be a good opportunity to get in before it starts the next leg up. Like I said, I think the Browns are in much better position to have a good season. They've got a good schedule. Odell Beckham is healthy. Baker Mayfield has new coaching, and hopefully they've catered the offense a little bit more to his skill set this year. And I think that puts him in a good position to have a good season and for his card prices to continue to go up. The final player we're going to look at is Teddy Bridgewater. We're comparing Teddy Bridgewater this week to Gardner Minshew and Dwayne Haskins. We're looking at the 2014 Topps Chrome PSA 10 for Teddy Bridgewater. We're looking at the 2019 Prism base PSA 10 for Gardner Minshew, and we're looking at the 2019 base Prism for Dwayne Haskins as well. You can see that Teddy Bridgewater is significantly below those guys in price. His most recent price was $121.80 versus $150 for Dwayne Haskins and about $190 for Gardner Minshew. Now, Gardner Minshew and Dwayne Haskins, they could have surprise seasons this year. A lot of hype around Gardner Minshew this year, and I've heard some talk about Dwayne Haskins having a solid second season potentially. He's got a good new coaching staff, and things seem to be heading in the right direction for the team. But for Teddy Bridgewater to be in a great position this season on Carolina, he's got tons of weapons over there. They've got a new coaching staff, that very offensive-minded coach. And Teddy Bridgewater finds himself in a position where he's been handed the keys to a Mercedes with that offense. He's got Christian McCaffrey, he's got Robbie Anderson, he's got Curtis Samuel, and he's got DJ Moore, of course. And he just has a lot of weapons, and I think he could put up some big numbers this year if he stays healthy. I have talked in the past how I don't really trust him to last the entire season. If you have your doubts as well, I recommend checking out the Phillip Walker, I believe 2018 Panini Unparalleled card. Those go for, if you can get one of those for under $30, I'd highly recommend going and pulling the trigger on that, because I think if Phillip Walker, who's co-listed as the backup quarterback to Teddy Bridgewater this season, if he gets an opportunity this season, he could have some surprising results. He was on fire in the XFL before they pulled the plug on that season. But I do think that Phillip Walker is a good buy, and he's only got one card that I'm aware of. But I'm not talking about Phillip Walker here. I'm talking about Teddy Bridgewater. I think in the meantime, Teddy Bridgewater being in charge of that offense, I think his price of his rookie card is undervalued relative to the opportunity he has this year, and especially relative to what Gardner Minshew and Dwayne Haskins cards are going for, because I think Teddy Bridgewater will most likely outperform those guys this season. That's it for this week's edition. Make sure to check out our articles over on RotoGrinders.com. Under More Sports, you'll find the sports card section. You can see all our articles and our videos over there. Like the video, please, over on YouTube, and subscribe to our YouTube page. And make sure you sign up for SportsCardInvestor.com's Market Movers tool. Like I said, you can get 20% off your first payment on any subscription over there. I highly recommend the annual, so you're getting 20% off your first payment, which would be the entire year up front. So you get 20% off the entire year instead of just a month. So I highly recommend the annual over there. And make sure it's the Market Mover subscription. That's where you're going to get all the access to these great tools and charts. And make sure to start loading up on those football cards, because I have a feeling with all the fantasy players getting involved in sports cards this season, I think that they could trade like day trading stocks. So I think it could be pretty crazy if you're able to project based on schedule the performance of certain players. Then you might want to try to get in on those players ahead of time and sell their cards based on if they outperform or if they have those big performances that you're anticipating, and make that profit. So Until next week, make sure to check out Sports Card Grinders on Tuesday, and I will see you next time, and keep an eye out for new articles. The article link to this one is posted in the description below. Thanks.